And the commentaries and insights into the Aseret HaDvarim are almost without number. There's one thread that I want to speak about. It's especially emphasized in Hasidic thought by Chidush Yarim and also by Reb Tzadok HaKohen Lublin. The first two of the Dvarim, as we count it, there's a difference of opinion how to count the 10. Whether Anochi is one of the 10. So according to Rabbeinu Sadia, it is not. But according to Rashi and the Rova Meforshim, it certainly is. And then the question is, why does it say Anochi Hashem Lekecha Malchum Eretz Mitzrayim? Asher Tzeicha Eretz Mitzrayim. Why doesn't it say Asher Barosi Shemayim V'Oretz? Which apparently is a greater ness in our minds. So Tzadok says as follows. He says Judaism is based upon service to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Ki avodah hein. The Rebbeinu Shalom took Klal Yisrael that they should be his servants. They should do his will. That's their purpose in the general scheme of creation. That is what the Jewish people represent. They're the avodim to the Rebbeinu Shalom. So he says, as we all know, there are two motives that make a person willing to be a servant, to accommodate others, to do the will of others, to be kind to others. There are two motives. One of them we call Ahava. Ahava is love. It's the positive motive. It's the relationship in a family. The relationship between friends. I want you to be comfortable with me. I want you to enjoy, so to speak, my company. So that's the midah of Ahava. And Chazal say that was the midah of Avraham Avinu. Midah of Chesed in the world is that trait of Ahava. You do good things for people because you like people. There are people that are fanatics to do good things for animals. They like animals. People like climate, so they do things for climate. Those are all positive traits. Now that's the midah of Ahava. However, Tzadok points out that the midah of Ahava has danger with it. If it is the only midah that the person has, you can love things too much. Tzadok says there brilliantly that that's the idea that Chazal say, that there's something that's called an Aveira Lishma. Person does a sin, L'Shem Shamayim, for the sake of heaven. So he says you see that by Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu allowed himself to be cast into the furnace by Nimrod. even though there was no tzivui, the Ribono Shel Olam did not order him to do so. He did it on his own. His measure of love was such. So Tzaddik says he was over on the fact that he was committing suicide when he was not empowered to do so. And Avraham Avinu, Tzaddik says, from that comes, from too much Ava comes Yishmael. You see, he said to the Ribono Shel Olam, when he said, I'm going to give you a child, Yitzchak, he said, Lu Yishmael Yechia Lefonecha. He loves Yishmael. Even though Yishmael is Para Adam, you cannot imagine a world where there wouldn't be Yishmael, but it certainly would be a better world. That comes from a surfeit of Ava. You love something too much. The other midah, which is reflected in the second of the Aseret Advarim. So he says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, Asher Tzeisecha Meretz Mitzrayim. So the Ribono Shel Olam showed us his Ava to us. So Kamayim Ponim Oponim, we reflect our Ava to him. The second is Lo Yeh Lecho Elohim Acherim Al Ponoi. That's a lav in the Torah. That's not a positive commandment, it's a negative commandment. That's the midah of Yira. God is so great that we're in awe of him. We serve him because of his greatness, out of fear. It's not out of love anymore. So he said that's the midah of our father Yitzchak, which is din, it's Yira. So again, if you let Yira go too far, so then the person is paralyzed. He can't do anything. You stand by an electric box, so the first rule is don't touch it. Unless you're a licensed electrician. You're afraid. So you don't do anything. He says that's how Yitzchak could have Esav. Because the midah of Yira prevented him from taking action against Esav. So Avraham has Yishmael, and Yitzchak has Esav, because they're both representative of this overriding, I don't know, we call it an emotion, whatever, mindset. One is of Ava and one is of Yira. He says Yaakov Avinu is the combination of both. It's in that combination that you're going to have different children. You're going to love them all, but you're going to love them differently. You're going to realize that they need different things. You could deal with Lavan without making war on him. That's why Yaakov is the Bechir Sheba'ovos, he says. That's why he's the chosen one. He's the apex of the Ovos. Because he had Anochi and Lo Yeh Lecha together. So he says, if you look through the Aseret Advarim, you see that. Shabbos is Ava, Kibbutz Avayim is Ava, Lo Sirtzach, Lo Sinov, Lo Signov, that's Yira. Lo Sachmod is the unity of both. If you have Ava to somebody else, you don't want to take anything away from that person. And if you have Yira, don't take what is not yours. People steal because they think they'll get away with it. If you make it abundantly clear that you can't get away with it, so that's a different attitude towards that. That was the genius in the United States a long time ago of having withholding for income tax. The government took your money right away. There was a time they trusted you. At the end of the year, when you filed your tax, you would say, when they started taking it away, so then the revenue increased substantially. Because the meter of Yira kicked in. And there are people that pay out of Ava. I know one. I knew a Jew here in Yerushalayim that every time he filled out his tax return for the Israeli income tax, he said that you got to make l'shem yichud. It's a mitzvah to pay for a Jewish state. So that lies in the first two of the Aseret Advarim. These two basic human traits which govern all of everything else that we do. And we try to achieve the level. That's why we're called Yisrael. So that's what he says, Ki Sarisa Elokim V'odom. Sarisa Elokim, that's Ava. V'odom, that's Yira. V'atuchal, and you were able to put the two together to make for yourself a path in life where it's not too much Ava and not too much Yira, but it brings to eternity and to Netzach Yisrael.